Hey everyone, Teo here. Today I'm reviewing the Viwoods AiPaper, which is a 10.6-inch black and white e-ink tablet and note-taking device. First of all, a disclaimer, this is a review unit provided by the company, and in this video I'll just present to you my findings so that you can decide whether this is worth the money. The price of this tablet at the time of review is $549 which may or may not include free shipping depending on your location. The company provides a 100-day return policy and 14 months of warranty. So, as usual, let me give you the bottom line up front. This is the long list of pros and cons that I have already written down. By the way, this video is going to be quite long, so if you want to save time, you can check out the text review that I have already written on my blog. The link is in the video description below. So because this list is quite long, I'm just going to pick a few main features that I like and also tell you some of the things that could be improved with this tablet. So the first thing that I like is the design of this tablet is beautiful and the build quality is very solid. And this is very thin, so this is really portable even with the case and the pen attached, and the build quality of the pen is pretty good as well. Second thing that I like is the handwriting and note-taking performance of this tablet and pen is fantastic. The latency performance is good, so when writing, the lines they appear almost instantly beneath the pen tip. The tactile experience of the pen on this matte textured surface feels wonderful. The downside here is the default note-taking app doesn't have many features, and if you want to use other third-party note-taking apps such as Microsoft OneNote or Nebo, the latency performance is not good at all. Another thing that I like about this tablet is this 10.6-inch e-ink display is great for reading PDFs, comics, or magazines where you cannot adjust the text size. So on this display, the text is still pretty big, comfortable for my eyes to read. The e-ink quality you can get from this display is fantastic. Now this is not the best visual quality because you can see some grain here. So let me just enable the best display mode, and now you can see the grain is gone and the contrast of the black against the e-ink canvas, it's really good, and also the text is very sharp. Resolution of this display is 1920 by 2560, so the resolution is quite high. Now one downside is when it tries to convert color images or comics, the conversion looks good, but the contrast I think should be or can be better. I feel like some of the lighter colors can be converted into lighter gray so that there can be more contrast. So now you can see the color areas here is kind of dark. What I'm looking for is contrast like this, where you can see more lighter values that contrast much better against the darker values. Anyway, colored comic pages or magazine pages are designed for colored displays or colored printouts. So when presented on a black and white display, there will be limitations. However, when you are viewing black and white comics that are designed for black and white print, they are going to look fantastic. There is Google Play Store, which is not pre-installed, but you can install it, and with Google Play Store you can install other ebook apps that you may have, such as Kindle or Libby, which will give you access to your local library. The battery life is good. You can get days of use with this tablet because it's just black and white as long as you are writing or just reading and not using the internet. Okay, some of the downsides and limitations. There is no front light. So if you're using this tablet in the dark, well, you won't be able to see anything, even though the e-ink canvas is actually quite light. But you will still need some sort of light source pointing at the surface. The other thing I don't quite like is there is no backup option. So for example, with this page of notes that I have taken, if for some reason the tablet is damaged or lost or stolen, there is no way for me to restore this page of notes. And there is no micro SD card reader, so I cannot back up my notes onto the SD card reader, and the company did not provide any cloud storage backup because they said it's for privacy reasons. Another downside is this pen tip is not that tight, so if this is caught up with something, this can actually be pulled out or drop out quite easily, and I have already lost one pen tip. The good news is the company has provided 9 replacement pen tips with the purchase, and there are 2 pen tips hidden in this compartment in the case, but you need a SIM ejector in order to pull out that compartment. The thing that really impresses me about this product is the quality of the e-ink is just fantastic. The text is really sharp, and the handwriting performance is easily 5 out of 5 for me. But for note-taking, it's really limited by the features of the app, which I will talk more about later. Oh, I almost forgot to mention there is a fingerprint sensor or scanner up there, which is very convenient. So that's the bottom line. In my opinion, this e-ink tablet with the big display is great for people who read a lot of PDFs, comics, magazines, and for people who write a lot. And of course, this is great for reading. And now let's move on to the full review where I show you the items included with the purchase. This review unit that I have here was probably sent to some other reviewers before me. So this paper looks slightly crumpled. And in the box, you get the e-reader tablet that's already inside this case that's included. And this is the pen. And we have some boxes. Inside the smaller boxes, you will find a quick start guide, a USB-C to USB-C charging cable, a card tray ejection tool, and 9 replacement pen tips, and that's the nib remover. Let's take a closer look at this design. Now, this tablet is really thin. It's just 4.5 millimeter, and the dimensions are 13.8 centimeters and 19.1 centimeters. So the display size is 10.65 inches, which is a really good size for reading comics and PDFs. This display is matte textured and the anti-glare is not aggressive, so when there is diffused reflection on the display does not become white. And even with diffused reflections on the display, you can still clearly see what's on the screen. The bezels are quite thin and uniform on these 3 sides and thicker at the bottom because there are 3 capacitive buttons. There's the back button, home button, and the AI button, which is not very useful for me. This could easily have been the app switcher button, but there's no way to customize the button in the settings. And if you look really close, you can see 2 holes here. So those are the microphones. And notice the color of the bezels is quite similar to the color of the e-ink canvas, and this is very light value gray. So this e-ink canvas provides very good contrast with the blacks or the grays. The sides are metal and this is curved, so this is comfortable to hold. At the bottom, there is the USB-C charging port. You can connect this to your computer and transfer files to the tablet as well. At the top, there is the power button with fingerprint scanner that works quite well. The back has this matte textured surface that feels really nice, and the logo has this silver print, so it's quite subtle. So the overall design of this tablet is clean and simple, and that's how fast the fingerprint scanner is. Another thing to note here is the e-ink canvas is very close to the surface, so there is minimal gap here. There are some e-ink tablets with a bigger gap and you can see cast shadow on the edge, but here you don't really see that shadow. The pixel density is 300 ppi, so all the visuals look really sharp. The e-ink technology used here is Carta 1003. And I don't really follow e-ink technology, so I cannot tell you whether this technology is better or worse compared to other devices. But from what I can see here, the visual quality looks really good. The visual quality of the e-ink that I see here is probably the best that I have seen compared to all the other e-ink tablets that I have reviewed so far on my YouTube channel. So not having any color on this display is definitely not a downside, because you have to understand that with color e-ink, even when you are displaying black and white text, there is going to be some grain with the canvas and also with the text, but here there's absolutely no grain at all. So this is a really portable tablet, and even when you have this inside the case, this is still really thin and compact. Now the pen that you put here in the holder will actually snap to the side of the tablet so that it doesn't, slide off like that. Just be careful to check your pen tip once in a while, because if you have this inside your bag and something touches the pen tip, it may actually pull out the pen tip. So just be aware of that. The auto wick works really well. Let me show you the hidden pen tips here. So as mentioned earlier, you need the seam ejector. So if you do not have this, then there is no easy way for you to pull that compartment out. There is a little hole there for the seam ejector, so you can use this to pull out this compartment that holds two pen tips. And I'm using one with the pen because I lost one today. Let's talk about the display quality, which looks really good to me. You don't actually get many settings to adjust the e-ink quality, so you just choose based on the refresh mode. And best display will give you the best visual quality. But when it comes to flipping pages, you can see that there is noticeable latency. And when it comes to flipping color pages, there will be noticeable flashing. So if you switch the display mode to fast mode, this will move faster, and notice the flashing is not as obvious, or sometimes there is just no flashing at all. But the downside is there will be more ghosting. So this is image retention from the previous page. Yep. And also with some of the grays, you will see the grain. So if you look at this area where the sky is, this is quite grainy. And if I switch it to best display, now the grain is gone. Take a closer look at the dark gray and the black here. So this is the best display mode. And now I'm going to switch over to fast mode. And now you can see the grain in the gray. The black still looks alright, but the grays definitely have more grain. So you can choose whatever display mode you prefer or refresh mode you prefer. So with fast mode, you can actually swipe like this and you can see the moving animation. It's certainly not as fast compared to color LCD or OLED displays, but for e-ink display, this refresh mode looks alright. But for fast refresh mode, there is image retention, there is ghosting, so you have to decide whether you prefer to have the faster refresh mode or to have better visual quality, noticeably better visual quality, but at the expense of more flashing. Let's take a look at the speed of page refresh for the different refresh modes for text and also for images. So this is fast. So as I tap to flip the page, you can see the animation of the page moving. And the image quality is still quite good for text. So this is quite acceptable for me. Now if you switch to ultra fast, this is somewhat faster, I guess, but the downside is the text is not as sharp. So this is ultra fast, and let me switch to fast to let you see the difference between the image quality of the text. So this text with the fast mode is just sharper. And now we have fast display and the text is even sharper. As I tap to flip the page, you can also see the refresh is not as fast, but this is, in my opinion, still alright. The difference between the visual quality of the text between fast and ultra fast is noticeable, but between fast and best display, it's not as noticeable. If you know in advance how the e-ink quality will look with fast versus best display mode, you will be able to see a difference. Next, let's look at some comic pages. So let's open my Kindle app. By the way, the internet loading speed is quite decent. And now let's look at the software features. So this is the home screen, and there is no way to configure the home screen. So you will get the different sections here, and the same sections are repeated here, just in bigger tiles. This is the note-taking section, the calendar, the meeting section with some note-taking features as well. This is the storage section where you can find the files that you have transferred to the tablet. And picking is sort of like screenshots, so you can have a screenshot and you can circle or do annotations, and all those will appear here. And under apps is where you can find all your apps. This is the settings page, and there aren't many features. So under language, you can choose between English or Chinese. Under display, you can choose the text size for the user interface. You can choose the auto lock timing. Under general, you can set the date and time, choose wallpaper. Under security, you can change the passcode, scan your finger, and there is a section where you can find and install the latest firmware. And I have already installed 2 firmwares over the last 2-3 weeks that I've been using the tablet. And this is the shortcut to the Viwoods community page where you can ask questions, maybe complain or ask for features. This is email, so you can set up your own email account using POP3 or IMAP. And this is the apps, same thing as this section here, and settings. If you swipe down from the top left, nothing happens. If you swipe down from top right, you only get this feature, so there aren't many features. And I don't even see the auto rotation feature. So if you tap more, it will just go back to that settings page. Let's take a closer look at the note-taking features. So I'm going to tap here to create a new file, and you can choose templates. And there are many templates to choose. So these are all the templates you can choose. When you write the title of the page here, this will automatically be converted into a file name on the home page. So this is actually quite convenient. So these are the tools you get, and they are quite basic. So this pen actually supports tilt and pressure sensitivity, so you can press down harder to get thicker lines or write with a light touch to get the thinner lines. And you can choose the pencil and use the pen on the side to get the broad strokes. This is the eraser. So these are the 3 types of eraser. And here, if you want to, you can input text with the virtual keyboard. These are some AI features. Analyze content will analyze what you have written and provide context. Generate article will generate, an article based on the keywords that you have written. AI text conversion will convert your handwritten notes into editable text, and AI assistant is kind of like analyze content, but there is the to and fro aspect where you talk to an AI assistant. And this is the lasso tool, and we have undo, redo. And here at the bottom, you can create a tag for the notes. And this is where you can see all the pages in the note or notebook. You can create layers. You can choose templates here as well. And there is this lock feature. And here you can create or change the file name and add page or share the notes that you have written. The note-taking experience is wonderful, mostly because the pen is accurate and the latency performance is fantastic. So when you are writing, the lines, they appear almost instantly. Now there is some lag or latency if you are looking for latency or lag, but the writing performance is mostly very responsive. And this is able to capture my handwriting really well. And you can see it's able to capture the pressure sensitivity as well. The writing experience is not exactly paper-like, but the tactile experience is really enjoyable for me. This pen uses Wacom EMR technology, so it is possible to use other pens that also use Wacom EMR. I have tested the Samsung S Pen with the soft and also with the hard plastic nib, and when I wrote with those two pens, the lines always come out thick like this. It's difficult to get thin lines, but with this pen you can get thin and thick lines way more easily. I also tested the Link Studio pen, and that pen performs just like this pen. The side button here can be used to erase, or you can use the eraser at the back to erase as well. The side button eraser only works with the default note-taking app and not with other apps. And as mentioned earlier, if you use third-party note-taking apps, the latency is quite bad. Next, let's look at the calendar. So you can create tasks or notes for specific days, and you can switch between the different months. And from what I can see, there is no way to integrate Google Calendar into this default calendar app on the Viwoods tablet. So that's the limitation here. Let's go back to home and look at meeting. So I don't really use this. You can use this to take meetings notes as well, and there are some features. Yeah, so some of the note-taking features are kind of similar to what you saw earlier. When you transfer files onto or into the tablet, some of those files will appear here under the learning section. So I have transferred some PDFs over, and let's take a look at this price list. So you can have annotations on the PDF. Oops, check price. Yeah, you can have annotations, and you can export this PDF with annotations as well. Just go back. This is a PDF comic, which is quite big. I mean, the file size is quite big. So once the PDF is loaded, the pages can be flipped quite quickly. I have tested e-ink readers where when I try to flip this PDF file or flip the pages, after some pages there will be lag, but here this is, in my opinion, quite responsive. File formats or ebook formats that cannot be read will not appear here. So if you want to find where those files are, you will have to, well, install your own file explorer. And you can do so with the help of Google Play Store, which is not pre-installed. I'll put a link in the video description below to the steps on how to install Google Play Store. And once you have this installed, you can install other ebook apps such as Kindle, Libby, there is Kobo, and you can install OneDrive or Google Drive to get your files onto the tablet. Let's look at picking, which is screenshot and annotation features. So when you swipe down from the top right corner, you get these three options. There is crop, annotate, and record. So crop will basically let you crop a section of the page. For example, if I want to maybe screenshot this, I can circle it and then just save it. And this will be saved into picking. So you can open this later, and this will be a file, so you can place this file into some other app. Let's take a look at annotate. So once you enable that feature, you can now write on the page itself like this. And once you are done, same thing, you can just save it. And this will be saved into picking as well. So these are the two files that I have, one's a screenshot and one's annotation. And for record, there will be this pop-up that appears. So now you can write something here, or you can actually insert an image. You can insert, for example, the image that you screenshot earlier. Yeah, so let's just insert this. And you can, whoops, let me go back to the pen here. Yeah, so you can just write something. And once you're done, you can just save this. So screenshot will save crop and annotate, and pickings will save recordings. So that's pretty much what you can do with this tablet. The sun is coming out, and that's the sun, by the way. So there is no multitasking mode, there is no split screen mode, and you cannot use this in landscape orientation. Okay, let me just go through this list to make sure that I did not miss out on anything. Oh, there is no front light. If you are using the tablet in a dark environment, you will need some sort of light source. And the light source doesn't have to be that bright because the e-ink canvas is light and it provides good contrast with the black text, the black e-ink. So you just need some light in order to see what's on the display. The area around the buttons is soft. Yeah, so if I press here, I can actually press into the surface. I'm not sure why. Anyway, these are capacitive buttons. There is no speaker in this tablet, not that the tablet needs any speaker. The AI button is not useful, and I think this is quite important. There are no backup options. So if you lose the tablet, or if something happens to the tablet and you lose your files, there is no way to back up all your notes. So when you are creating your documents or when you're writing, you have to find some way to save your files out somehow. I believe I have covered almost everything I wanted to say about the Viwoods AiPaper. So is this worth the money? Well, you guys can decide and let me know in the comments section. And if you have the intention to buy this tablet, you can check out the purchase links that I have for you in the video description below. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video. Bye.